Hey folks, Sandamtod here. I had to come back out to the vintage stock here in Blue Springs because one of the things I bought on Sunday is not working. I bought a used PlayStation 3 controller and it's not charging. I did open it up, made sure the battery was connected and everything, and cleaned the buttons and stuff, and it's still not working. And I tried it with different cords, and I tried it with the cord they gave me with my other controller and it worked fine. So I'm here to see if I can't get another controller, get some store credit, but I thought I'd shoot this case in here where they had the NES and Nintendo 64 games. So we'll go in and kind of peek around, see what we can see, and hopefully get another controller, get some store credit, and pick something else up. So anyway, I'm going to head in. I have all those Sega CDs titles. What did I tell you? Double switch, always. Gentlemen, ladies, welcome back. Sandamtod here. Hey, kiddies. The bearded one didn't leave you. I'm here. I'm going to do a pickup video. This past weekend, they were having a sale. I don't know why they decided to have one over Halloween holiday or whatever it was, but they did. So I went ahead and I didn't even know they were having a sale at the vintage stock. So when I went there, I was a little surprised, and it sparked my interest to go to a couple. So I'm only going to do the stuff I got at the Blue Springs store tonight, because that's stuff I'm most excited about, and I don't want to make the video too super long, just in case y'all get bored. So anyway, first things first, you may have saw at the beginning, and I talked about it in my driving and talking video, just to update you guys about the box games they had in their case. And what ended up happening was I had bought among other things, with the buy two get one, I had bought a PlayStation 3 controller for $10, you know, and it was used, but I was like, you know, cool. So I got home. Well, the sucker wouldn't charge. I pulled it apart, made sure the battery was connected. The buttons were really sticking on it pretty bad. I cleaned everything, made sure the connection of the battery was good, stuck it back together, tried charging it again, it still wouldn't charge. Tried using a different cord, it still didn't charge. Tried using the cord that came with it on my original controller, and it worked fine. So I was like, well, I'm gonna have to take this back, you know. So I think it was that same day I made the last video post or whatever. That night I took that controller back over there, and I was like, I'll shoot that case and show you all some of those box games they have in the case. Well, all the box games are still there because they're asking such a crazy amount for them that I don't know. I don't understand it. But anyway, we're getting a little off track. I'll come to that in a second. So I go in. I go in, and the same clerk, the same girl that helped me on Sunday, that rung me up for everything, was working that night. I think it was Tuesday night. And I don't know if she recognized me or not, but when I walked up to the counter, she was like, oh, what's wrong? Because she saw I was holding this, you know, bag with the controller, and I'm like, it won't charge. And I was like, you know, you can just give me store credit or whatever, because I really didn't need another PS3 controller. It was almost kind of an impulse buy, because I originally thought when they do this buy two get one thing that you had to get, you know, 3 of one type or another. And when she told me on Sunday when I came up to counter, she's like, oh, it's mix and match. You don't have to buy 3 peripherals or 3 games or whatever. As long as it's used stuff, you know, it's buy two get one. And I was like, oh. So I ended up putting some controller back that I had kind of picked up, and grabbing another game, but I had still had that PS3 controller, and I was like, no, I'm going to get one in case I have my cousin come over and play co-op or something on the PS3. It'd be nice to have a backup controller. So anyway, I go up to the counter, and she's like, oh, I won't charge, hon. I was like, yeah, I don't think you have any more over there anyway that are used. I was like, you can just give me store credit or whatever. I figured, you know, I'll pick up another game or something like that. And I figured I'd look around, so I knew I'd find something. And she goes, actually, this controller, you got a pretty good deal on it because it should have been marked at $39.99. And I'm like, $40 for a freaking used controller? Yes, it was named brand. I don't like off-brand stuff. And it was the wireless one. But it was just a black controller. It wasn't anything special. And I was like, well, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, well, it wasn't that great of a deal because it didn't work. You know, and I kind of laughed, and she was like, kind of looked at me and kind of nodded her head like, yeah, I guess so. You know, and I was like, well, just give me my, you know, because I knew at that point if I had pushed for a replacement controller, there might have been kind of a deal, and I really didn't need it, and I was just like, you know, whatever, just give me the $10 as store credit or whatever, and I'll look around. So she gave me a card that they put the money on. She's like, do you want me to put it back on your Visa card, you know, my debit card, or do you want it, you know, store credit? And I was like, just give me this store card, you know, the gift card or whatever. So I started looking around, and the cat's trying to get in. Hold on just a second. Go on. So anyway, I started looking around. I went over there and started filming the games in the case, and like I said, all of them are still there. I don't know what it is about this camera, this flip camera versus my old one that I used to have. It's just, I don't know. This one I've never really, I mean, it gets a better picture, I think, than my old one did, but the old one had a pause button where I could pause it while I was filming. It also seemed to not get as jerky when you moved around with it. It didn't shake as bad, because it seems like I've got some kind of the shakes or something half the time when I'm filming, but it's just a lot more sensitive for some reason than my old one used to be. So it might have been hard to read some of the prices or something, but I guarantee it. I can guarantee you that the prices on those were ridiculous. The Contra in the box, which is one I was most interested in, was $89.99, and they had Goonies there, and I think it was also $89.99, and then they had like 3 or 4 along the back that were like $69.99, and it was like Battletoads, Bionic Commando, RoboCop, and Super C, I think, maybe. You know, and they were all, you know, none of them were cheaper than $69.99, I don't think, that were in the boxes and stuff. You know, and at first I was like, well, these got to be factory sealed or something. But the thing is usually at vintage stock, if something is used, it has a yellow sticker on it with the price. It's yellow, and it says used right on the sticker underneath the price. Their new items, when it's brand new, usually they put a white sticker on them that says new. Well, none of the games in that case had a white sticker on them. So I don't know if they just didn't put the right stickers on them, or whether all those games are used. Because if they're all used, there's no fucking way I would pay the prices they had those marked if they were used. There's just no way. And you saw what they were charging for some of the N64 games. I don't really give a shit about N64, but $124 for Shadows of the Empire. I got that at the thrift store complete for like $6.99 or something, and they wanted $125 for it. It better be new. They had 2 Conker's Bad Fur Days that were exactly the same. One of them they had $250 on, and one of them they had $100 on. I don't know what the big price discrepancy between the two was, but both of them had the yellow sticker, which leads me to think that they're used, unless somebody just didn't color code the stickers correctly. And it's funny because I don't even work at this place, and I catch a lot of errors in their stock a lot of time. I'll find games that are the wrong game in the wrong case. You know, I'll find peripherals that are marked for the wrong system. You know, they had an extension cord that they said was for an Xbox wired controller, and it was for a GameCube controller. I could tell by the plugins on the end of the extension cord that it was for a GameCube controller, but they had it over with the Xbox stuff and marked as Xbox extension cord. So that's just one thing. One time they had a Streets of Rage game at one of them that was out on the shelf, and they had like some other stupid game in there that wasn't even, you know, Streets of Rage. And I took it up to the counter and I said, this isn't Streets of Rage. Whatever's in here is not the right game. And the next time I went in there, they had put it back out on the counter, or back out in the store, and it still had the wrong game in it. And I was just like, whatever. Half the time I just think that if I was working there, you know, I would keep better track of things, but, you know, I'm not going to work there for what they'd be willing to pay a clerk, you know, to keep better track of their stuff. So, anyway, I looked around. I did end up finding a game that was the same price as the controller, $9.99, and then I went ahead and picked up something else. I can't think of what it was offhand. I think it might have been that controller. Well, I don't know. It was another controller, but I don't have it back here. It was a wireless Xbox controller, because I moved some of my consoles around and put my Xbox out in the living room, and I wanted to have a wireless controller, so I bought a Mad Catz wireless controller or something for it. So I don't have that back here, but trust me, I bought it, and it was like $12.99 or something, but anyway, I have 5 games here and 1 peripheral thing, and you'll see that one of these things I'm so excited about. it is something that I have wanted for, I don't know, probably shortly after I bought the console. And it's one of those things that online the prices are so outrageous that it was one of those things that I honestly thought I would never own. And I kept kind of fighting back the urge to buy one, and things like that. And it's just one of those things. I'm sure we all have them, and I'd be interested to know some of yours, that something you thought you would never ever get, and you finally got one. It might have not been a deal or whatever, but you finally went ahead and found one that you were happy to pay for, and it's a feeling that's just, awesome, because you're just like, I never thought I would have this. So anyway, one of the things I have here is one of those types of deals, and I'm going to show it last, of course, but we'll get started. These are all PlayStation games that I picked up, and they are all long box games. A little bit ago I had picked up some long box games and brought my total, I think, up to around 27. And so I was surprised, because I hadn't been into this vintage stock in a while, that they had so much new retro stuff, unlike a lot of the stores which seem to have really cut back. I mean, granted, those games, they had them marked outrageously, but these PlayStation games were marked, a great price for me. And this other peripheral thing, I think I got a steal on it. So anyway, let's get started. The first game I picked up, actually, this is the one that replaced the PS3 controller I got the great deal on that didn't work, and it was $9.99, and it is the game Rayman. And this is the original Rayman, complete. It's in the plastic case. I've never really played a lot of Rayman, but the back of this, the graphics just look so awesome that I couldn't pass it up. 65,000 colors, 60 frames a second, and 4 independently scrolling backdrops. It just looked really cool. Over 250 different sound effects, CD quality soundtrack. Welcome to the next generation. So, anyway, it does not have a protective foam thing in it, but it does have the game and the booklet, and it is in great shape. It's not scratched or anything. I don't know if one collector turned a bunch of stuff in and turned in all those NES things and these PlayStation games and stuff as well, or whether they just, I don't know, because like I said, I hadn't been into that store in a couple of months, I think. This is another one in the plastic case. I've been wanting this one for a while. Actually, they had 2 copies of this, but when I went back in on Tuesday night, they didn't have the other one left. So I was glad I went in and picked it up, because it was like gone. The other one was gone the next time I went in there. This one was $12.99, but it is the classic Mortal Kombat 3 in the plastic case. Mortal Kombat 3. 15 merciless combatants and all new secret bosses. All new fatalities, animalities, and babalities. You know it, you love it. Mortal Kombat 3. Also no foam, but it is the game and the booklet. And it was $12.99. These are the priciest, I think. Well, no, there's one other one that's a little more expensive. If they're under 20, or under 15, really is where I kind of draw a line. 20 is kind of my limit, but it would have to be something spectacular. And none of these games that I picked up, in my opinion, are to that level of spectacularness that I would pay $20. But saying that, a lot of the early releases were long box, and they're just not as quality as some of the games that came out later. So there are quality in here, don't get me wrong, but it's not the same. We'll go ahead and show that this was the most expensive one I picked up. But tell you the truth, this is the first time I've seen this one, and I kind of lucked out because they were all complete. This one was $14.99. I know there's a couple. I don't know if there's a variable case on this one or not. I know Mortal Kombat only came in the plastic case. I'm not sure about Rayman. I think it came in the plastic case as well. They came in the jewel cases, I think, as well. And same thing with this one. But it is the game. This edge needs to be wiped off. It's got some dust on it. It is the game Primal Rage, and I've been wanting Primal Rage for the 3DO, but this was another one on my list. I had made a list once I had found out how many long box games there were, and I had put about 8 on it that I really wanted. And to tell you the truth, I've whittled that list down now to one game that I don't have on that list. And there are a few randoms here and there. They still have actually probably 4 to 6 more out at the vintage stock in Blue Springs that I would like to pick up, but they're range from $5.99 to $9.99, and I just didn't have. I already spent quite a bit of money this past weekend, so I just couldn't justify buying any more this weekend. But we went ahead and got it. It is complete, like I said. The disc is in there. Primal Rage for the PS1. The instruction book, which is in good shape. A little ad so you can buy the soundtrack, which they wanted to charge you at the time $15 for the Primal Rage CD soundtrack. And then sign up for a great magazine back in the day, Electronic Gaming Monthly. It was one of my more favorite gaming magazines when I was a kid, Electronic Gaming Monthly. So, Primal Rage. I was never really good at this game, but it's just one of those that I never owned it. And I played it at the arcade some, and so I would kind of look forward to giving it another whirl here on the PlayStation. It does have a couple little dings in the side that I actually didn't really notice when I bought it because it was shrink wrapped, and I was so happy to see it. I kind of overlooked some of the blemishes. It's kind of like when I bought Doom, and actually I had another copy of Doom out there, but I'm not going to buy it again. It was the same case variant as the one I already have, so I was like, well, I'm not going to buy it again. But Primal Rage. So that's 3 games. So if we were buy 2 getting 1 free here, we would have got Rayman for free because it's the cheapest one, and then I would have paid the $12.99 and the $14.99 on those. This is another game here that keeps eluding me. I have it, but it keeps eluding me complete on the 3DO. Every time I order it, it seems like there's something wrong, and I've ordered it twice. The first time I wasn't paying attention. Actually, I think I might have only ordered it once. The first time I bought it at a store, and it was just a loose disc. The second time I bought it, the guy told me it was complete, and it wasn't complete. There was no box, and I had to pestered the guy 2 or 3 times. Guy never contacted me back, and I think I just told this story to Married with Games on his comment about Amazon, because I buy a lot of stuff through Amazon. So I filed the claim with Amazon, and Amazon reimbursed me the cost of the game, and I got to keep the game because the guy wouldn't respond back to me. So I don't know what action Amazon takes against the seller, but I got my money back, and I got to keep the game. And that game is, this one's complete though, and it's for the PlayStation, but I would still like to get it for the 3DO complete. And that is the game Gex. Not everybody likes this because some people don't like Dana Gould, who did the voice, I guess, of Gex, but that doesn't bother me that much. It is complete. It's in one of these black plastic clamshell cases. Not the cardboard, but the actual plastic ones. And it's got the book and the game. It's got an ad underneath it for a game called Blazing Dragons, which I've never heard of. Crystal Dynamics. I think didn't become. They might have got bought out, but I think it was Ubisoft. They kind of took them over, and they have an ad for Legacy of Kain, which is another stellar game in my opinion. And then the booklet. And the booklet actually has the front of the manual on both sides, which is kind of cool. So it doesn't matter which way you put it in there, it looks like you got it in there the right way. And it was $9.99. And like I said, I got, 2 of these things free. And this is the last one, and I was really stoked to find this one, and especially for this price. I have it on the 3DO. I had it at one point on the PlayStation, but I only had the jewel case version, and I traded it off a while back when I was trading games. I remember for a fact I traded this game and a game called Beyond the Beyond, and I'm trying to think. I think I traded my Super Nintendo Doom off that was in the red case, but I still had the box and everything. I traded off 4 or 5 items, and to tell you the truth, I only ever traded that stuff off like that once or twice, and I regretted it later on. There has been things that I found out in the wild where, for a while, Vintage Stock was buying Super Nintendo cartridges, depending on the game and how many they had in stock, for a pretty good trade-in value. And I found this one pawn shop, actually both the pawn shops here that I go to now and get, PlayStation games and stuff, PlayStation 3 and Xbox games and stuff, used to have a lot of retro, and there was one of them that sold any cartridge game for $1, and it didn't matter what system it was for, and it didn't matter what the game was. And I came in one time, and they literally had 3 copies of Donkey Kong Country, and I knew for a fact that Vintage Stock would give me $7.99 trade-in value on the Donkey Kong. And so I bought all 3 of them for $3 and then took them up there, and I think I might have needed one of them. I don't remember. I think I kept one of them, and I took 2 in there and traded them off and got like $16 in store credit and only spent $2 on them at the pawn shop. So, I've done that a couple of times if I thought I could get more store credit out of something that I, picked up really cheap. But since they, don't really sell stuff that cheaply anymore, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to try and do something like that. That was a few years ago that I was doing that type of stuff, but I kind of quit because it just didn't make a lot of financial sense after a while. But anyway, to get back to this game, this is one, like I said, that I had the jewel case version, traded it off. I've always loved this game. I had it originally for the and I still do have it for the Sega CD, and then I had picked it up for the PlayStation in the jewel case, traded it off, and then I ended up picking it up again for the 3DO, and now I have it again for the PlayStation, and that is the game Road Rash. It was $6.99, and it's in the long box case. I had never seen one of these in the long box case until I was looking at the variants list on this website that I was sent to by a buddy on YouTube, and I saw that they had it, and when I saw it, immediately I was like, I got to get one of those. And I had never seen it anywhere, and this is the first time I've actually seen it kind of out, or in person. And for $6.99, I was like, whoa, but the disc looks the same, as far as like the print on the front and everything. And it is complete. I took the instructions out just a second ago. This one does have a foam thing in it. The instructions, and then this one has a little, I don't know why, but it's got a little Namco catalog in it. And then it's got this like fold-out Electronic Arts catalog in it as well, which was kind of cool. But for $6.99, this was one of the first ones that I noticed and grabbed right off the bat when I noticed that they had some games. I think I grabbed Road Rash first, and then Primal Rage. And then I started, because there was a lady there with her son. They were kind of looking through the games too, and so I grabbed those immediately and kind of let them do their thing, and then went back over there and ended up picking up, well, not Rayman, because I just picked that up Tuesday night, but picked up Gex and Mortal Kombat 3. Now, I know for a fact out there, they still have a game called Nova Storm, which I actually have on the Sega CD and the 3DO as well. They want $10 for it. It's a decent game, and I would pay $10 for it, but I just, like I said, I didn't want to spend any more money the other night. They had Shockwave Assault, which is I have some of the Shockwave games on the 3DO. It was only like $3.99 or $4.99. They also had a game called In the Hunt, which I don't know what that was exactly. They had a game called Magic Carpet. And then let me think. They had a couple that I already have, like Wipeout, Alien Trilogy, and Battle Arena Toshinden. They had Battle Arena Toshinden 2, but that was another one they wanted $10 for. I want that one. And then they had PO'd. I actually have PO'd for the 3DO, but they had PO'd. And so I think they wanted $5.99 for it. And I'm trying to think. Ridge Racer. I mean, I was really surprised at how many long box games they actually had. I mean, they probably had, 12 to 15 titles, and I picked up 5 of them right here, and there was still another 4 or 5 I could go for. Nova Storm would be cool. PO'd, that Shockwave Assault, Battle Arena Toshinden 2, and I think that's it. That's about it that I either don't already have or that piqued my interest. The one game that I do not have that I'm still wanting that's not on this list is Psychic Detective. I have it for the 3DO. When I saw that they made it a long box version of it for the PlayStation, I immediately wanted it, but the only one I've seen is online on Amazon, and they want like $65 for it, but it is complete. I'm not going to pay $65. I told you I don't even want to pay $20 unless it's something spectacular, so I'll probably sit and wait, bide my time, which does work, because the last thing I'm going to show you is something I waited and bided my time, and finally it came to me. It found me instead of me finding it. So anyway, I know I've been kind of dragging it out and hyping it, and some of you might have guessed what it is. It's an item, like I said, I never thought I would get one, so I kind of wrote it off, and every time I check the prices online, it's like ridiculous. A loose one, the cheapest I've ever seen a loose one, is $59.99 or something, and then I've seen them at upwards of $200, depending on what they came with and the condition and things like that. So, anyway, I was looking at the PlayStation games, and I looked in that case and saw those really expensive Nintendo stuff, and I was like, and then I looked over at, they have another case over by the counter that they keep some random games and stuff in, and I was like, I'll go over there, because they had a few like import Saturn games and a couple of systems that were complete that are in the case that say, hey, this Dreamcast is $39.99, and this PlayStation 2 Fatty, the big one is $59, $69, whatever. They have at least one of them out kind of on display, so people can see kind of what it comes with or whatever in this case. And then they have some games and stuff. And I glance over, and I see this in the case. And first, I couldn't believe it, because it's in the box, and I was like, no way, it's in the box, and I was like, immediately walked right from the, I left the PlayStation stuff, walked right over to the counter, and stood there right by the case, and they're like, do you see something that you want? And I go, yes. I didn't even hesitate. I was like, yeah, can you take that out of the case and let me see it? Because I noticed the price, and I was like, no way. No way they only want that for it, based on what I've been seeing online. And so they pull it out of the case, and they hand it to me, and I'm like, can I take it out of the box? Can I look at it? And they're like, yeah, go ahead. So I take it out of the box, I look at it, I look at the plug, I look at everything on it to make sure that it's the correct thing. And then I kind of look in there. I don't know if there's an actual manual, but there's a little like fold over kind of cardboard card thing that does kind of give you some like, here's how to use this type of deal. So I don't know if that's the actual little manual, and they didn't really have a manual for it, because it's just what it is. So anyway, without further ado, I've talked it up, but I'm going to hold off on showing you the price. I went ahead and picked up this, and like I said, I've been wanting this thing for 2+ years, at least, and I finally got it, so I'm happy. I'm going to have to get some games for it now, some more games. I do have 2 games that I can use it with, but I picked up the 3DO Game Gun, folks. This motherfucker, I've been wanting this thing for, I'm serious, probably a month or 2 after I bought the system, and it's in the box, it's complete. On the back, it shows you all the different games that at the time you could play for it, with it. And Drug Wars is on here. Drug Wars is the one that I have, and I have done a Drug Wars gameplay, but it was so hard to play without this gun, and I look forward to trying to play it. I do still have a camera-ready or cable-ready TV. I would like to pick up another one, but they're just so damn heavy and bulky that, I'd like to go to the thrift store and get one and, bring it home, but I would need another person and a truck to frickin' bring one of those big bastards home. But we've got Mad Dog McCree 1 and 2, Crime Patrol, Who Shot Johnny Rock, and Space Pirates are listed on the back of this. And I know they did like a 3-pack that had like Mad Dog McCree 1 and 2 and Crime Patrol or something in it. I don't necessarily want that, because it's super expensive, is the way they packaged it. But after I had gotten Drug Wars and played it, and it was so hard to play without the gun that I'm going to pull it out and show you the gun, but that I decided I just wasn't going to buy any more gun games until I had the gun. And that's crazy. Okay, so anyway, here it is. This is the 3DO game gun, American Laser Games game gun. The trigger is metal. It's weird because it's probably aluminum or something, but the trigger is metal. It still has the stickers on it that say 3DO right there, and American Laser Game Gun on both sides. The end on this one, it has the metal around it, like most of the 3DO controllers do. The metal, I always thought the metal was because of the way they daisy chain them together and to get the current from controller to controller so it would work. So I don't know why this one actually needs the metal, but it does have it. As you can see, I thought this gun here is also a game gun for the Sega, but they don't. They look similar, but they're not the same. It makes me wonder for sure what game gun this is. It has a Sega plug on it. It's orange. It looks close to the same, but they're not quite. Well, they're about the same size. But this one's got the like a pause button and a start button on the sides, and the controller is the trigger is plastic, which is no big deal because actually on the box, if you look at the one on the box, the trigger on it is orange for some reason. So I'm not real sure, but it makes me wonder if this is actually American Laser Games gun for the not the Genesis, the Genesis and the Sega CD, I guess. I've never actually tried it. I just assumed it was, and they look really similar, but they're not exactly the same. And maybe that is so you can tell them apart. I mean, I don't know for sure. But this is definitely the real deal. And so I'm happy. I'm going to hook it up. Like I said, I saw where I can get like Mad Dog McCree and I think Crime Patrol brand new, both for under 20 each. So I might buy them brand new, but I might also pick up a complete used version or whatever. But now to talk about price. This thing is huge. It just like, oh. But like I said, I never thought I would own this thing. It's also like my Snatcher game that I picked up. I just never thought I would own it. I would look at prices and I'd be like, there's no way I'm ever going to pay that. You know, not even if I, won money in the lottery, that type of deal. But it was just one of those things that I always kind of had on a list and I always checked on, but I never necessarily thought I would get one. So to find it, I literally had like the hair stand up on the back of my neck when I saw it and saw the price they wanted. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what they want for price, and you'd be surprised too, considering what it goes for online, to see this in the case. But it was $24.99. It was $25, and it's complete. When I say complete, I mean it has the box, and if by chance anybody knows, I do not know, but if anybody else knows if this is the booklet or not, I'd be in your debt if you would let me know. This is a registration card. This is kind of crazy. You could buy the games directly on this note card for the game, for the game gun. It has Mad Dog McCree, Who Shot Johnny Rock, the game gun itself, Mad Dog McCree 2, a game called VR Stalkers, which is not listed on here, Crime Patrol, Space Pirates, which I've never seen, and Drug Wars. A lot of these games, some of them aren't even listed. Some of them are only on Sega CD, and some of them are only on. That's why Space Pirates, it says, is on the Sega CD only, but I don't know that for a fact. But a brand new game gun back in the day for the 3DO would have cost you $54.95 and $44.95 for the Sega CD, according to this. So that's pretty cool. And then it's got this little warranty card, and it says using the game gun for the 3DO. And then it's got, up 2 little paragraphs listed. And then there's this card here, which has, go on, cat. Sorry, folks, the cat's at the door meowing, because I shut it, because otherwise the kitties are fighting and you'd be hearing it in the hallway. This just tells you how to kind of calibrate the gun for some different games and stuff. But that's all there is. But considering this one thing says on it, what did it say? Using the game gun, I just have to assume that that's the manual, so to speak. So if anybody knows, I'd appreciate a heads up on it if you want to give me one. And that's that. So we got the game gun for $25. And, the cheapest ones I had seen in box were around $130. So you're talking $100 price difference between the ones I've been seeing online and this one. And that's why I don't understand why they could have those Nintendo games marked so crazy for price and stuff, like they're checking the internet or whatever for pricing, but then they don't have this game gun marked for more than $30, unless they figure that a lot of people don't have cable ready TVs anymore and they're not going to buy it. I mean, it's not like they have stickers on the gun saying, oh, you can't use these on the new TVs. They actually probably should give people a heads up, but they're not doing that. So anyway, game of gun. I'm going to probably put the box and stuff up on the shelf up there, and I would like to hook it up and give it a whirl. And it makes me want to hook up my Sega CD and try this sucker out with like Corpse Killer, or I think I have Mad Dog McCree and Who Shot Johnny Rock for that as well. So try this out and see if it actually works for those. And then I got these games, so we'll add 5 more to that. So that's 32 inbox long box titles for the PS1. So that's coming along. I'm not going to buy, I know there's like 108 titles or something. I'm about reaching my end here. Like I said, there's about 3 or 4 more out there that I would pick up, which would probably run me $30 to pick up the 4 that I want, that they had out there that I still don't have. And then trying to buy Psychic Detective. And other than that, unless they're real cheap and I come across them, there's not a lot more that I want. So that's only another 5 games. So that'd be about 37. So that's not even half of the total long box collection. But I'm not a completist, so it doesn't really matter. I like diversity, but I don't have to have everything. It's just not in my nature. So anyway, folks, thanks for coming by. I tried to keep this short. I don't know how short it is. I do have another bag of goodies, but they're not quite as good as these goodies, in my opinion. But we'll do that in a separate video, and it probably shouldn't take as long. So anyway, I'm looking forward to doing a couple gameplays. I got an idea for a couple, and I've actually filmed a couple of 3DO gameplays that I just need to put some commentary to, and we'll go from there. So anyway, folks, thanks for coming by and sticking with me and hanging out. I know the content's been a little sporadic, but when you don't have the money to buy things, it kind of takes the luster out of wanting to just do gameplay videos all the time, at least for me, because I like to bullshit with people and find out what their opinion is on things, which YouTube seems to be making harder and harder for people to comment back and forth with each other and stuff, it appears. So anyway, thanks much. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next video, and hopefully we can use these guns and find out how fun these games actually are. So signing off, talk to you next video. Bye.